Ahuvai, Achai, Vereai, my dear friends, we're gonna have tonight's class, La Hatzlacha Shel Uriel Ben Malka Be'ezrat Hashem, and this class will be on the topic of Al Ha'esh, meaning on the Havdalah. On the Havdalah. So, we all know that Shabbat starts at Friday and finish on Saturday night. And just like in the beginning of the Shabbat, on Friday night, we have a special ceremony called the Kiddush. Also, whenever we are finishing the Shabbat, we have a special ceremony, and this ceremony called the Havdalah. So the Kiddush, we spoke about it a few classes ago, and we said that Kiddush is to glorify HaKadosh Baruch Hu according to the opinions. And today we're going to speak a little bit more about Havdalah, the blessing that we do by the end of Shabbat to make a separation between the holiness of the day of Shabbat and the weekdays. There is something very interesting about that mitzvah of the Havdalah. Because there is the mitzvah of Havdalah to make the separation, and in that mitzvah of the Havdalah, there is more mitzvot. There is the mitzvah of making a blessing on a good smell, besamim, and there is another mitzvah making a blessing on the fire. It's called Meoreh Ha'esh, the blessing on the fire. So how do we do? So usually the minhag is that we are taking our hands like that, and we are getting closer to the fire. Very far away from the fire is not counting. It's close. Why we do it? To identify the end of the nail and the beginning of the skin of your fingers. You have to hide your thumb behind the fingers like that. You are not looking on the thumb. Okay? You are making like that, and then you are making also like that. So when you are making straight the fingers is to identify the skin and the nail. When you are putting your finger like that, basically is to look on the marks that you have in your hand here. And in parentheses, I will tell you something very interesting on this part of the body, the marks that you have on the hands. We all know the story of Yitro. Yitro came to Moshe Rabbeinu. Yitro was the father-in-law of Moshe, and he told to Moshe, his son-in-law, Moshe, all day long you are sitting, and the Jewish people is coming to you asking questions. You cannot hold like that. Millions and millions of questions per day. You cannot. So you have to choose people that will be very straight, tzaddikim, will not, they don't like money, okay, they don't like money, to not be corrupted, right? And you have to tell them to become judge. If they will not be able to judge the people, to tell an answer on the question that they are asked, so they will pass the question to you. Okay? So Moshe Rabbeinu told Yitro, but how could I know who doesn't like money and who like money? Who is straight, who is like that? Who is tzaddik, not tzaddik? So Yitro taught Moshe Rabbeinu how to read in the hand. And he taught him that in the hand we have the possibility to look the parnasa, the mazal, the life, everything, it's written in the hand. And something more interesting is that in our hand we have a mark that's going straight from the bottom and going straight on a direction on the top of the hand. Okay? This mark, Yitro taught Moshe Rabbeinu that this is the mazal. This is the mazal, and therefore, whenever we are kissing the mezuzah, when we are going out, we are going into a room, let's say the mezuzah is like that, this is the mezuzah, so you have to touch the mezuzah with the middle finger, and basically is the mark of the mazal to increase your mazal, to bring more mazal to your life. So this was in the, thank you very much, in parentheses about what Yitro taught to Moshe Rabbeinu about the mazal. And why I spoke about it, because on Havdalah we have to look on those marks in the fire. When you are making like that next to the fire, it's to look on the marks, and when we are making like that, is to identify the skin and the nails of your fingers.
Rabbi, we're identifying this skin or this?
Yes, where the nail finishes and when your skin starts. Okay, you have to identify it. So today is not such a big deal because we have the light, but in the period of time, like a long time ago, whenever we didn't have electricity, so it was a big deal because it was at the night, and to identify where the skin started and when your nails stopped, you had to get very close to the fire in order to identify it. So anyhow, we see that Havdalah is a special ceremony that makes the separation between Shabbat and the weekdays, as we said, and on top of that mitzvah, we have other mitzvah. What is the mitzvah? The mitzvah of the good smell, but also the fire. The mitzvah of fire, making the mitzvah, the bracha on the fire. So let's start to speak about this mitzvah of making bracha on the fire. The Rambam, Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, in Halachot Shabbat, comes to tell us how to proceed to the Havdalah. And he says the following. First of all, we have to say the bracha, Borei Peri Hagefen. Borei Peri Hagefen. So this is the bracha that we should make on the wine. So all the psukim that we say according to the customs, there is some custom that's saying Rishon LeZion, Kos Yeshuot Esa, Hine Kel Yeshuat Yeftar. Those are only psukim as a beginning, as an introduction to the Havdalah. But basically the Havdalah itself is Borei Peri Hagefen, and then the bracha after the good smell and after the fire. So the Rambam continues, and he says we need to make a bracha on first Besamim, the good smell, and third the bracha on the fire. So why in that order and not the opposite? Why we should not start with the fire and then the good smell? So because the bracha that we are making on the good smell, why we are smelling the good smell? Because we have an extra neshama that's going away from our body when Shabbat ends. And because the other neshama feel bad for it, so we are smelling a good smell, because the smell is something that the neshama gets a pleasure from it more than the body. Therefore, we are making a good smell. So first of all, we want to make the neshama happier, the other neshama happier, and then we are making the bracha on the fire, and we're going to say later why we are making that bracha. So this is what the Rambam says. First, Borei Peri Hagefen. Second, the bracha on the good smell, and third, the bracha on the fire. And then the Rambam finishes halacha 24 on chapter 29 in Chot Shabbat. And the Rambam says the bracha, the blessing that we should do on the fire is Borei Meorei Ha'esh. What is the translation of those words? Borei Meorei Ha'esh is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu creates in like now Meorei, the luminary, the light, Ha'esh of the fire. Okay. This bracha of Borei Meorei Ha'esh is not according to all the rabbis, because we see in the Gemara a machloket between Bet Shammai, the yeshiva of Shammai, and the yeshiva of Hillel, and we see that there is a difference. Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. First of all, let's see who was those two yeshivot? What's so special about those two yeshivot? First of all, we should know, this is in parentheses, that Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel was two yeshivot that were most of the time, 99% of the time, in argument each other. Their rabbi, Bet Shammai's rabbi was Shammai, and the rabbi of Bet Hillel, the yeshiva of Hillel, it was Hillel. And we say that basically those two yeshivot was so special that many of those students of this yeshiva were part of the Sanhedrin, the great court, the rabbinical court in the Bet HaMikdash. And Bet Shammai, Bet Hillel was on the time of right before the destruction of the second Bet HaMikdash, and also afterward a little bit. So we're going to say a little bit of who was the student of Shammai and Hillel. The student of Shammai, we know Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Rabban Gamliel, Rabbi Akiva. Those were the student of Hillel. And then we have the student of Shammai, we have, let's say, Rabbi Eliezer ben Orkonos. He was one of the students of Shammai. We see something very interesting between those two yeshivot. Usually, whenever we have an argument between them, we see that Bet Hillel is always mekil, meaning is always letting the people to do something. More relaxed, yes. And Bet Shammai is more strict. Is always saying, no, it's not allowed, we cannot do this, we cannot do that. And until that it says in Chassidut that the root of Hillel and the root of Shammai is Hillel comes from Chesed, the kindness, therefore is always relaxed, and Shammai is Gevura, the opposite, the rigueur. Rigueur meaning the fact that he's always strict and is always making things that is not allowed. Okay, and we see something else also. Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. Bet Hillel was special by their nullification, meaning that they were very humble. And always, when you will see an argument between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel, you will see that always the first opinion speaking in that argument is who? Bet Shammai. Because Bet Hillel, because they were so humble, they always led to the one that doesn't agree with them to speak first. And then they were saying their argument, their opinion, and this was very special about Bet Hillel. And usually, beside of 6 cases, the halacha is always like Bet Hillel. Always like Bet Hillel.
Chanukah is Hillel.
What? Chanukah is Hillel, let's say, yes.
So what are the 6 cases that it's more like Bet
It's another topic because it's long to explain. It's six cases that we say that Bet Shammai was right and Bet Hillel is also right, but not according to the halacha. So this was a parenthesis to explain a little bit what is the yeshiva of Shammai, what is yeshiva of Hillel. And now let's go to the machloket, what Bet Shammai says and what Bet Hillel says about the blessing of the Havdalah that we are making on the fire. So we see in the Mishnah, Masechet Brachot, Daf Nun Aleph, page 51. Bet Shammai says on that blessing of the fire that we should say Shebara Maor Ha'esh. Again, Shebara Maor Ha'esh means that we are thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He created, in past tense, created Maor, the luminary of the fire. Bet Hillel comes and says, no, Bet Shammai, you say like that, I say something else. We should say whatever we are saying today. Boreh me'oreh ha'esh. Boreh, present tense, today is creating. Me'oreh, the luminaries in plural, not like Bet Shammai that says ma'or.
Just one.
One. He says me'oreh, few luminaries, ha'esh, of the fire. So if I'm asking you, what is the machloket basically between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel? What is the machloket? We could say that basically the machloket is on 2 points. First point is, do we say past tense, shebara, or boreh, present tense? This is first point. Second point of machloket is
Ma'or.
yes, the ma'or, the luminary. Are we saying me'ore plural like Bet Hillel, or ma'or one luminary of the fire, one luminary? Okay, this is the 2 points that we would say that this is the machloket. This is if we are reading only the Mishnah on page 51. But the Gemara later on, page 52b, on the Gemara Masechet Brachot, page later on, comes and says, don't make a mistake. The machloket between Ben Shammai and Bet Hillel is only on the second point. If we should say Ma'or, one luminary, or Me'ore, 2 luminaries. Not, and the machloket, the argument is not on if we should speak past tense, Shebara, or Bore, present tense. Why? The Gemara explained, because also when you are speaking about Bore, like present tense, right? Bore today, it's also a kind of past tense. How do we see that? Because every day we are making in the tefillah bracha, right? Yotzer or ubore chosher. We are thinking HaKadosh Baruch Hu that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the light and bore, and he creates today chosher, darkness. Comes the question, today he created the darkness? No, 1,000 years ago. So how come that you're speaking in present tense?
Because every day HaKadosh Baruch Hu creates.
Correct, but this is according to the Chassidut. But literally, like, how come that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, after he created, then that's it. We cannot say that he created every second, according to the pshat, regular way how to understand, not about the deep understanding of the Baal Shem Tov. Well, the reason is because Borei Chosher, or Borei Meoreh Ha'esh, present tense, is also a way of speaking of past tense. Therefore, both of them, Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel, one says Shebara past tense, the other one says Boreh present tense, right? But basically they agree that both of them speaks about past tense. And so why one is speaking like that and one like that? Because Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel were two separate places, and each one was used with another language. But they are not. But if Bet Hillel says the opposite, like Bet Shammai, or Bet Shammai like Bet Hillel, is fine because both of them is basically the meaning of past tense. Okay. Therefore, there is no argument between them on that point.
So we're not talking about past.
No.
Because Bore is also past.
He could speak also on something that happened already. You are speaking in the past, that's Bore, that he creates. Then, correct. Then, so what is the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel? Comes the Gemara and says, Bet Shammai thinks, and this is very, very interesting. And he says, Bet Shammai think that we should make the bracha Shebara Ma'or Ha'esh, the luminary, one luminary, because he's thinking that we have only one luminary in the fire. But Bet Hillel comes and says, no, there is no one luminary, there is few luminaries. Me'oreh Ha'esh. This is the machloket. So until now, when you're reading the Gemara, we don't understand so much what is about this machloket. Why? So the Bet Shammai says one luminary, Bet Hillel 2 luminaries, or more than luminary. What is that? So let's explain what is the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel, and this is something very interesting. To interpret this argument between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel, we have 2 poskim, 2 rabbis, that comes and tell us an interpretation of this machloket. Rashi comes on the same page of Gemara.
Which Gemara was it from?
Masechet Brachot, page 52. Comes Rashi and he says, you know what is one luminary or few luminaries? I will tell you. You know, in the fire, when you are looking at it closer, you see how many colors. You see sometimes blue, brown, white, sometimes yellow, orange, right? We see all kind of colors. Comes Bet Hillel and he says, we should make in the Havdalah, Baruch Boreh Meoreh Ha'esh, the luminaries. Why? Because we have few colors. If it's few colors, so we have few kind of light, so it's luminaries. Many. Okay? Comes Bet Shammai, according to Rashi, and he says, no, why you should speak about all the colors? We should speak in general about the fire. We have one fire, so is one luminary, so therefore we should say, Shebara Ma'or Ha'esh. Okay? So one comes and says we should look closer to the fire, and the other one says, no, in general, what there is only one candle, one fire. Say one luminary, that's it. This is one interpretation of the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. Everything is clear until now?
Yep.
Second interpretation, and this interpretation is from the Ravad. We saw this rabbi already, Rabbi Avraham ben David, the Ravad. And this rabbi basically is brought by the Shita HaMekubetzet. So in parentheses, let's say who was the Shita Mekubetzet. Shita Mekubetzet is the name of the book that was wrote by Rabbi Betzalel Ashkenazi. So we might think that he was Ashkenaz, right? Because he's Ashkenazi, but most of his life he lived in Mitzrayim, in Egypt. He was born in Jerusalem in 1520, and very young he went from Israel to live in Egypt. He grew up there, and people were calling him Ashkenazi. Why? Because he used to come, like his family comes from Eastern Europe, yes. And Rabbi Betzalel, he went to learn in the yeshiva of the Radbaz. Who was the Radbaz? Rabbi David ben Zimra. Radbaz. He was a great rabbi on that period of time. And afterwards, he grew up and he became the rabbi in Egypt. He went a few times back and forth to become the rabbi in Israel, in Jerusalem, and then back to Egypt, a few times like that during his life. And when he was the rabbi in Israel, he became the rabbi of who? Of the Arizal.
Wow.
The rabbi of the Arizal is Rabbi Betzalel Ashkenazi.
That's the Rava?
No, Rabbi Betzalel Ashkenazi, he learned by the Radbaz, Rabbi David Ben Zimra, but he was the master of the Arizal. And
who was the Ravad?
Radbaz, he was the rabbi of... the Ravad, Rabbi Avraham ben David.
How was he related?
So, no, he's not related. His opinion, the Shita Mekubetzet that was wrote by Betzalel...
Shita Mekubetzet.
This is the name of the book that Rabbi Betzalel Ashkenazi wrote. He brought the opinion of the Ravad.
So the Ravad uses the...
No, Rabbi Betzalel Ashkenazi comes and writes a book.
Right.
In his book, he's bringing the opinion, the interpretation of the Ravad on the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel.
Okay. What's the book of Rabbi Betzalel?
The Shita Mekubetzet. Shita Mekubetzet. And so we said that Rabbi Betzalel was the rabbi of Rabbi Yitzchak Luria Ashkenazi. Also the Arizal was Ashkenazi, right?
Yeah.
And he passed away at the age of 74, Rabbi Betzalel, in the year 1594. Okay, so this was the background of the Shita Mekubetzet, the author of the Shita Mekubetzet, Rabbi Betzalel Ashkenazi. And he's bringing in other interpretation, the interpretation of the Ravad, Rabbi Avraham ben David. Rabbi Avraham ben David comes and he says, how could we interpret this machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel if we should say one luminary, few luminaries on the fire of Havdalah? We could interpret like that. How many interests, how many ways could we have a pleasure from the fire? Meaning, how many kinds of using we could use the fire?
Warmth, light.
Correct. Vision, okay.
And even smell, if it smells good wood.
Yes, but it's not coming from the fire, it's coming from the wood. So three. So, we have the light from the fire, we have the possibility to get warm, to heat, and also to cook. Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel doesn't agree on that. Bet Hillel comes and says, we have cooking, getting warmer with the fire, and also light. We should make a bracha on all those things. Therefore, we should make me'oreh ha'esh, the luminaries, because the luminaire of light is only one luminaire, but the fire is not only here for lighting you, like to make you to bring you light, right? It's also to cook and also to make you warm. Okay.
So, like, okay, got it.
So therefore, luminaries in plural. Comes Bet Shammai and he says, no, we should make only ma'or ha'esh, only one luminary. Why? Because according to Bet Shammai, we need to speak only on light, because this is the major reason of the fire. The fire was here first to make light during the night,
Right.
and then we have also other things that we could do with it, cooking and also the heat. Okay? This is the machloket according to the Ravad. So again, we have two interpretations of the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. Why Bet Shammai says ma'or and why Bet Hillel me'oreh. Rashi speak about the colors of the flame, of the fire, and therefore he says that Bet Hillel thinks that we should make a bracha on all the colors, that therefore we should speak in plural. Bet Shammai comes and says no, we should speak in general, therefore we have one luminary. Ravad comes and explains differently the machloket, and he says basically the machloket between them is on the use that we have from the fire. Cooking, light, heat, this is three ways how to use fire. Bet Hillel says we should make the blessing on all of them. Bet Shammai says no, we should make a blessing only on the light. Got it?
Beautiful.
Clear?
Very simple.
Very simple. Comes the question. The question is, according to Rashi, okay? Rashi spoke about the colors, right? The colors of the fire. We need to explain why Bet Hillel decided to make the bracha on all the colors, and why Bet Shammai decided to make the bracha only in general. Why? What is the base of their machloket? So we have three ways how to explain why everyone said what he said. First explanation.
Past and present? No.
No.
No. What? No.
We said according to Rashi, right? What Rashi says
Because there's
we should look on the colors, right?
Right.
So Bet Hillel speaks on the colors, Bet Shammai speaks in general.
One color.
Good. The question is why Bet Hillel said that like that, and what Bet Shammai said like that. What is the base of their opinions? Could you understand?
I got that.
Yeah?
Okay.
So we have three ways how to explain why everyone decided to say what his opinion. Why Bet Hillel decided to say, oh, we should make a bracha on every color, therefore we are speaking in plural.
Okay.
And why Bet Shammai speaks in singular.
And then we brought the Ravad, and Ravad explained.
No, we are speaking only on Rashi right now.
Okay.
Rashi. So the first way how to explain is the following. On Motzei Shabbat, let's put ourselves like 100 years ago. We don't have light at all. 200 years ago. And comes Motzei Shabbat, Shabbat is done. And now comes the rabbi and he take a match and he's making fire. So first of all, I'm asking the question. The guy that is next to the rabbi and is looking at the fire, does he pay attention how many colors there is in the fire on that time, on that second? No. He sees fire. Right? So therefore, Bet Shammai comes and he says, no. Because the first second, right? The person looks at fire and he sees something general. This is the main point. So therefore, I think we need to make a bracha, one luminary, because we are making the bracha on the first second. Yes or no?
So that's Shammai.
This is Bet Shammai. On the first second, what happens? We see fire. We don't see colors like Bet Hillel says. Understand? Comes Bet Hillel and he says, I'm not agree that we are making a bracha on the first second. We must say that when someone is getting closer to the fire, when the fire is on the candle, and the rabbi light it already. So the guy that is getting closer, he looks on that flame and he sees different colors. On that, this is the blessing. Because when you're getting closer, you see that there is differences in the flame. Therefore, we need to make a bracha that speaks about all the colors. Okay? So this is the reason why Bet Shammai says his opinion, because we speak on the first second that he sees fire, and why Bet Hillel says his opinion, because we are speaking on the person that that is getting closer to the fire, and he looks on colors.
Okay, got it.
Got it?
So, but Rabbi, when we strike the match, we don't say Borei Moreh.
No, but we say Borei Moreh Esh on the first second when you made the fire. Even if now...
Let's say I don't do Havdalah and I go on an elevator, right?
Yes.
I'm about to press the button, I say, Hamid Kodesh Lachot.
Yes.
I don't say Bracha, right?
Okay.
Because I said Atachonan.
Yes.
But I didn't touch any electricity.
Okay.
But I said Hamid Kodesh Lachot,
Yes.
and I press it.
Yes.
When I go upstairs to my apartment, I strike the match.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm lighting the candle,
Yeah.
I'm making the bracha.
No, in the middle of the Havdalah, you are waiting a little bit.
So I'm not really making a bracha.
On the first second, correct. But Bet Shammai says, what is in your mind? What is in your mind? Bet Hillel says, like what you are saying right now.
I broke it down, yeah, you're right.
You understand?
Yeah.
You are not making the bracha on the first second, you are making the bracha where the fire, correct. And when the fire is lit already, you see colors, therefore it's supposed to be plural. But Bet Shammai says, no, even if now the candle is lighted, is lit already, you should make the bracha on the first second. Even if now it's not the first second anymore, your mind is on the first second when you had the fire.
Sorry.
Second way, how to understand according to Rashi. Okay, like again, what Rashi said, that the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel is on the colors. Right? Bet Hillel speaks about colors. Bet Hillel speaks about colors, and Bet Shammai speaks in general. So, second way how to understand this machloket is the following. Very interesting. He's going much deeper. He says that basically we have two fires. Whenever on Motzei Shabbat we are lighting the candle, we have two fires. First fire is the essence, is the root of the fire. HaKadosh Baruch Hu God created the fire in the beginning of the creation, right? And basically from that second that he created fire, it became possible to have fire in the world.
From the first original fire.
From the first one. Then you come on Motzei Shabbat, by the end of the Shabbat, and you are lighting your candle. Correct? So this is your fire. We have the fire that Hashem created in the beginning of the creation, and you have your fire on Motzei Shabbat that you just lighted with your match. Okay? Come, Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel says, you need to make a blessing not only on your fire that you have on your table right now. You have to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu on the fire that you have on your table, but also on the possibility to have the fire. You are making the bracha on the root of the fire that Hashem created in the beginning of the creation.
That's Shammai.
This is Bet Hillel. Therefore, we need to make plural. Plural on your fire today, like now, by the end of Shabbat, on your table. And the second fire, that basically this is the fire that Hashem created on the beginning of the creation. Got it?
Yeah, so both original and current.
Yes. Bet Shammai comes and says, no, you know what? Why HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the fire in the beginning of the creation? It's for you to have it right now on your table. So on which one you should make the bracha, on which one you should thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you should thank Hashem, only on the fire that you have on your table. How many fire you have on your table? One, therefore it's singular. Shebara ma'or ha'esh. Not like Bet Hillel that says, Borei me'oreh in plural. This is second way how to understand the interpretation of Rashi according to Bet Shammai Bet Hillel, the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. Yes? So again, before we are getting to the third interpretation, we are speaking about Rashi's opinion. What Rashi's opinion says that the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel is on the colors, right? So why Bet Hillel said his opinion and Bet Shammai said the other opinion? We saw two ways. First, either if we are making the blessing on the first second, or when it was light already. Second, if we are blessing on the fire on your table and also the root of the fire that was created by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or only on the fire that you have on your table. Third interpretation is basically the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel is what is the original color of the fire? If I'm making a barbecue, the fire is not the same color as if I'm lighting a candle.
Wait, what?
What is the original color of the fire?
That HaKadosh Baruch Hu created.
Yes, what is the real color of the fire? What is the real color?
Depends on the amount of oxygen that's placed in it.
Okay, but I'm asking you a question. Hashem created one thing. It's called fire. Afterwards, you're bringing oxygen, you're bringing something else, and it's making colors. I'm asking you, what is the original color of the fire?
It depends on the gases that are burning.
Correct. So it depends on something else. I'm not speaking about nothing. I'm just speaking about the creation of Hashem that's called fire.
We could say the sun.
But also the sun is using oxygen, I don't know, right? So what is the original color of the fire? This is the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. Bet Hillel says whatever you see on the candle, right? It's basically a mix of something else with the fire. And the proof is that closer you get to the candle and you have a different color. You have blue, right? Then we are getting a little bit higher, you have black or brown. Then a little bit higher we have yellow. Then we have, according to what it says, white. And Bet Hillel says the original color of the fire is white, meaning that the fire that is the farthest from the candle.
All the on top.
Yes, all the on top. This is the original, because we cannot have the original color by itself because we need a candle, something to hold the fire, to see the fire. If not, there is no fire, right?
What did Shammai say? What color?
No, once again, just Bet Hillel right now.
Okay.
Okay? Bet Hillel says, and also Bet Shammai says, the real color of the fire that we could see is the white. White, the top part of the flame. This is the color, the real color of the fire. And therefore comes the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. Bet Hillel comes and says, because we see many colors, okay, we should not make the bracha on the real light of the fire. We see many colors, make a bracha that include all the colors. I will continue with Bet Shammai, and you will understand. Bet Shammai says, no, you need to make a bracha on the original color of the fire. What you see right now, different colors, this is only because of the candle, of the gas, of the this, of the that, but not because of the fire itself. The fire itself is one color, is white. Therefore, you need to make a blessing that speaks about singular, one color of the fire. Bet Hillel says, no, what do you see right now? It's blue, brown, etc., right? Even if you have also the blessing on the real color of the fire, right? But you should include all the other colors.
Okay, let's take a step back. Hillel agrees that white is the original.
Yes.
Can you switch me?
Yes. Yes, we are...
We're in the middle of the lecture.
Yes.
So
Thank you, Nathan, for coming.
Hillel says that original color is white, and Shammai even says it's white.
Yes. But the question is on what you are making the blessing.
Is that on the current color?
Correct.
Or the color that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the first time he created?
No, is on the original color of the fire or on all the colors that you see right now.
So it goes back to the first thing.
It's similar to the first thing.
Page 52 in Masechet Brachot.
Yes, but we are explaining why he thinks like that and why he thinks differently. Understand? Why Bet Hillel says that we should say Baruch Me'oreh Ha'esh in plural? And why Bet Shammai says that we have to say Shebara Ma'or Ha'esh, one Ma'or, one fire. So the third explanation is because they...
We do the wicks, no?
The wicks.
So it's more than one fire?
Correct. But we are not making a bracha on the wick. We are making the bracha on the fire itself.
No?
Yeah, but it needs to be together. It has to be more wheat, like a few, but it has to be one fire.
But it's technically like different fires coming together.
Yes, correct. But because the halacha says that it needs to be together, so by the end of the day, it's only one fire. So we have a machloket that says that Bet Shammai says, as you say, you see one fire, say one fire, ma'or ha'esh. Bet Hillel says, no, me'oreh ha'esh. We need to make. Okay. So the third explanation was that basically behind of this machloket is what is the original color of the fire. Because when you see the fire, you see that it's blue, brown, and yellow and white, right? We see a bunch of different colors. So what is the original color of the fire? This is the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. Both of them agree that the original color is the highest color of the flame. This is the original color.
The highest color?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Meaning the yellow-white.
Okay.
The yellow-white, this is the original color.
Not from the bottom?
Not the full bottom, because the bottom is basically fire mixed with the wax, mixed with the gas. Okay? This is what... But the question is, are we making the bracha on the original color of the fire or on what you see right now? Bet Hillel comes and says, you see how many colors? You see 4 or 5 different colors. So say Moreh Ha'esh in plural because you have blue.
That's not different fire.
This is not different fire, but different color. Me'oreh, ma'or is luminary. Luminary.
Okay.
But Bet Shammai comes and says, no, you have to make a blessing on what? On the original color of the fire. Because you are making a blessing of what? Of the creation of Hashem. What Hashem created? Hashem created fire blue, brown, and yellow? No, He created one color. You took that fire and you put on the candle. Therefore, He mixed into a bunch of different colors. But you need to make the bracha on the original color of the fire. This is all according to Rashi. Because we said before that we have a machloket between Rashi and Ravad, how to explain this machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. So Rashi says the base of the machloket is on the colors, okay? As we said right now. So now, yes, Oriel, you are with us?
Yeah. So Hillel basically says the third way that Rashi answers it is that Hillel says that we're making the blessing on the colors you see now.
Correct.
Shammai says, no, we're making the blessing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the first fire back in the day.
On the color of the fire.
And they both agree
that Hashem created.
The original color is white.
Correct. Come, the Ravad, Rabbi Avram ben David comes and he says, you know what is the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel on the Moreh Ha'esh, plural, singular? I will tell you. It's basically how, as we said, it's on how could you have a use from the fire. We said we could use fire as light, as heat, and also we could use fire as fire for cooking. Right? Comes Bet Hillel and says you should say in plural Me'oreh Ha'esh. Why Me'oreh Ha'esh? Because you should include all kinds of fire. The one that is making you warm, the one that is bringing you to cook food, and the one that is making you light. Me'oreh Ha'esh, the luminary. There is one luminary to light, one luminary to make you warm, and one luminary to make you to cook the food.
So since fire in general has different function.
Very nice.
That's the...
Therefore, we need to make it plural, Me'oreh Ha'esh.
Right now, I'm not doing it because of...
Correct, but Motzei Shabbat, you are starting again the new fire of the week. So you need to include everything according to Bet Hillel. Comes Bet Shammai and he says, yes, you're right that we have many functions from the fire. But what is the main function? Is the light. Therefore, Ma'or Ha'esh, we need to have one luminary shebara ma'or ha'esh. So the question is, according to the Ravad, why Bet Hillel said his opinion? Why Bet Hillel choose to say, oh, we should include everything together? And why Bet Shammai says, no, we should speak only on light? Why? Why is that? So to understand this question, you understand the question? Why? What is the base of the machloket? Why Bet Hillel choose to say that you should include all the functions in your blessing? And why Bet Shammai said, no, you should not include all the function, only light? Why? So to have this answer, we should go through another question. The question is more global, more general, is why we are making a blessing on fire, especially Motzei Shabbat. Why Motzei Shabbat and not Friday and not Kiddush? You are making Borei Moreh Ha'esh Friday night after the Kiddush. Your wife, your mother, your sister light the candles, right? Mm-hmm. Make Borei Ha'esh. Why?
Because you're not, like you said, like.
And I will tell you more than that.
Lighting the fire of the week, no?
No, 1 second. Before that, and more than that, Friday night. Why we are lighting the candles of Shabbat for Shalom Bayit, to have the peace between the wife and his and the husband. Because if let's say we don't have light, electric light, and we don't have like candles, the husband will get angry, the wife will get angry, right? So we see that the light, basically, you are using it on Shabbat. So make the blessing, Baruch Moreh Ha'esh, and use it on Friday night. Why we should make it on Motzei Shabbat? And here we see basically two mefarshim coming and telling two answers. The Rosh, Chidushi HaRosh on Masechet Brachot, comes on page 53. Masechet Brachot, page 53. The Rosh comes and explains the following. And he says, because we have a story in Masechet Psachim that tells us the following. Adam HaRishon was created on Friday. Friday, few hours before Shabbat, he made the sin, and then right afterwards, Shabbat entered. So the first night after Shabbat, it was Saturday night after Shabbat, Motzei Shabbat. During that Shabbat, Adam HaRishon felt very spiritual because this is the 7th day of the creation. Hashem was rested, he was rested, so it was very holy, special day. Comes Saturday night, and Adam HaRishon felt so bad. And he saw that the sun is set, he's going to down, and basically he's starting to have darkness in the world. So he said, the world is done, that's it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this is Masechet Psachim, says...
The first few days, no, the sun didn't go down?
No, yes, but Adam HaRishon wasn't there. He was created on Friday. So the sun, he was turning, but Adam HaRishon wasn't there. So
Adam, the first time he experienced sun going down?
Yes.
He was just born, his first day.
No, Friday night.
Friday night, we said that this is Shabbat. Shabbat, it was spiritual. He didn't feel so bad about that because it was Shabbat. On Motzei Shabbat, that's the first day that he felt so something bad.
Was he living in Gan Eden?
After the sin, he went out from the Gan Eden, and then So HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want Adam HaRishon too scared, and then the Gemara says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought special wisdom to Adam HaRishon to understand that if I'm taking two rocks and I'm hitting each other together, that's it, fire will come out. And this is what Adam did. Motzei Shabbat, after the first Shabbat of Adam HaRishon, came the fire. Come the Rosh, and he says, according to that the Gemara, we understand that the creation of the fire, the practical fire today, is on Motzei Shabbat. Yes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created beforehand, but the real fire that was made by a human being, it was on Motzei Shabbat. So to remember that creation of Adam HaRishon, we are making blessing on the fire on Motzei Shabbat.
Because of the Chokhmah?
Because not of the Chokhmah, because the first time that fire was created by human being was after Shabbat.
But Hashem gave him the Chokhmah.
Correct. But when practically the fire was created by a human being? When was that?
That's
On Motzei Shabbat. So do also the same because we are all Adam HaRishon, right? We are all a man, right? So you have to do the same on the end of Shabbat to remember the story of Adam HaRishon. So I'm asking you a question. If I don't have fire, should I go knock onto my door, my neighbor's door, and do I have to go buy fire, to ask fire around, like to ask around for fire, or I don't have to? What do you think?
You have the electricity.
Let's say that we don't have 200 years ago. Is it a mitzvah that you should have fire, or if you have it, good, and you are making the mitzvah, but if you don't have it, it's fine.
If you don't have it, it's fine.
It's fine. Correct. Why is that? Because this mitzvah of having fire on Motzei Shabbat is only to remember of something happened. It's not like putting on tefillin every day. Putting on tefillin, the Torah says you should put on tefillin every day. So it's a mitzvah that every man should put on tefillin. Here we have a mitzvah of the Chachamim that we should make a bracha on the fire to what? To remember what happened by Adam HaRishon. So it's not a mitzvah like putting on tefillin, putting on mezuzah, etc., etc. So because it's only for remember, so if you have fire, make the bracha, make the mitzvah. If you don't have, you should not run after people or run to buy fire. Okay?
Right. It's only a zecher.
Only a zecher, correct. This is the first opinion. Yes, Oriel, you have... yeah, it's clear?
We're up to date.
You want to date?
I want to focus.
Okay, we'll focus.
Very nice. So come the Ramban. Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, the Chidusha Ramban, comes on the Masechet Brachot, page 51, and he comes and he tells us another reason why we should make a bracha, Motzei Shabbat. And he says the following, and he says, because there is an halacha, today I didn't see that people are making it, maybe there is a special reason, but we're not making this halacha. You know that whenever you are going to the sea, you see the ocean, you see mountains. In France, we have Alps, amazing mountains. You should make a bracha. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, oseh maaseh bereshit. Okay? The Ramban says, whenever you meet those wonders of the world, you have a special bracha, oseh maaseh bereshit, right? Whenever you meet the fire, you should make Baruch meorei ha'esh, the bracha of the fire.
Whenever you see what?
Whenever you see the ocean, you say Oseh maaseh bereshit.
Oh, you see ocean or mountains?
Both. All midbar, the desert, the mountains, the oceans.
Really?
Yes.
I never saw the.
Yes, the Rambam says it. You should make Oseh maaseh bereshit. But so just like you should make a special bracha for those wonders of the world, come the Ramban and says also whenever you see fire, you should make the bracha Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu borei meorei ha'esh.
Yeah, but then we don't say it every time.
Correct. This is a big question. So how come that this bracha we are only making once a week? You should make it every day, every time that you see fire. Why you should make the bracha only once a week, according to the Ramban? Yeah. Come the Rambam and answer and says, because you know why? Because during the week you are using the fire in different ways. In the night, okay, you are using the fire as a light. In the day, you could also use the fire for cooking, for heat, for any way. So you have never hefsek. You don't have any separation. So because you don't have any hefsek, so you don't have to make a bracha again.
Oh.
Therefore,
if you would have hefsek, you say.
Yes, in the idea, yes, he would say that if one day you don't have any profit from fire, the next day, yes, you should make a bracha. Okay, that's not the halacha. Okay, so comes the question and says, so why you decided to make the bracha on Motzei Shabbat? Because Motzei Shabbat, the end of Shabbat, this is the first time that you just made a hefsek, a separation on the fire. Why? Because on Shabbat you are not allowed to use fire. Not for cooking, not for light, not for heat. All the fire that you have on Shabbat is from the fire that you lighted last week. So this is not a new fire. This is fire that expired. This is from last week already. When is the first time that you could use a new fire? Motzei Shabbat. Therefore, according to Ramban, you should make a bracha on Motzei Shabbat.
You're breaking the hefsek.
You're breaking the hefsek.
Wow. That's the Ramban.
This is the Ramban. Nice.
Beautiful.
So I'm asking again the question, if I don't have fire, should I go and ask for my neighbor, please give me fire, I need a mitzvah to do, or not?
Because no matter what, during that week, you're gonna use fire. You're gonna go and, I don't know, turn on your car.
I will tell you, what do you say, Jonathan?
According to the Rambam or Ramban?
Ramban, what we just said right now.
According to Ramban, I think you should ask him.
You should answer. I'm asking a question. What do Ramban said in the beginning? Just like when you are meeting a mountain, the ocean, and the desert, you should make a special bracha. Also, when you meet the fire, you should make a special bracha, right? I'm asking a question. There is a mitzvah to go to the mountains every day to make a bracha?
No.
No. There is no mitzvah to go and to meet them and to go to the mountain. Just if in case you happen to be there, you make a bracha just like that. Also for the fire. If happen to be that you have fire on Motzei Shabbat, make the bracha on Borei Moresh. It's nice. Very nice. So just to recap, we have two reasons why we should make the bracha of Borei Moresh. First, because we have to remember about the story of Adam HaRishon that he felt bad on the end of Shabbat. Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought him a wisdom, and he knocked two rocks together to make fire. Also today, and according to the Ramban, because it's like just like we are meeting the wonders of the world, we make a special bracha also whenever we are making a hefsek, a separation, and after that separation, you are making a new fire, you should make a new bracha. So this is the Rosh and the Ramban. Chidush HaRosh and Chidush HaRamban.
So what did the Rosh say? We only got the Ramban.
Huh?
What did the Rosh
No, the Rosh is the first opinion. The Rosh said that we should remember about Adam HaRishon. Chidush HaRosh. Adam HaRishon, yes, with the special wisdom that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him, etc. Right? So come the question about, according to those two opinions, may I do the blessing of Moreh HaEsh in middle of the week?
Yeah, if you don't have any exposure to fire since Shabbat.
And there's also just a zecher, why not?
If it's a zecher, if it's to remember Adam HaRishon, when Adam HaRishon had this fire.
Saturday night.
So you should remember Saturday night.
But if you don't...
Why does it matter if you remember Saturday night or Tuesday?
No, Chanukah. You are making Chanukah on those days because on those days happened the miracle. Right? It's special time. If not, it's not remember, it's something else.
I'm still remembering.
Yeah, remember.
Why does it have to be at that time?
It always the
Zecher is just I'm remembering.
Yes, you're right, but Zecher, according to Torah, is always attached to a time. Chanukah always. Zecher LaChurban is during the time of the Churban. Tisha B'Av, something like always attached to the time. Therefore, according to the first opinion of the Rosh, that says that we should remember Robat Adam HaRishon, right? What we should say, that you cannot have the blessing of Borei Moresh in the middle of the week because it's not a Zecher. Zecher is attached to the time. But according to the second opinion of the Ramban, that says that we should, it's when you meet a fire, a new fire, you should make the bracha. Yes, in the idea, you could make the bracha of Moreh HaEsh in the middle of the week. Okay?
Right.
Middle of the week.
So that's according to Rosh.
The Rambam.
The Rosh says only Saturday night because we remember Adam HaRishon. The Ramban says also during the week. But why we are not making during the week? Because there is no separation.
Right. So under, I don't in general. I don't have to. If I don't have Borei Moresh, but I still say Abdullah, I'm able to eat after, right?
Yes. This is a mitzvah on top of the mitzvah of Havdalah itself. Okay.
So is that the reason that we could say Havdalah till Wednesday? Let's say someone.
No, because according to the second opinion, also Thursday you could make borei ash. When you meet first time, fire. Friday before Shabbat, you're making borei ash. According to the second opinion, I'm not saying that this is the halacha. This is not halacha, but according halacha is only on Motzei Shabbat. Only on Motzei Shabbat.
What if I do
you could do
on
Wednesday
Sunday?
night.
No. What? No, Havdalah you could do also later, but the mitzvah of Moreh Ash, this is two separate
If I do
mitzvahs.
Havdalah later, if I do Havdalah on Tuesday,
You are not making Ash.
I don't do it.
No.
What about
Let's
the
And this is the reason also when we are making Havdalah after Yom Tov, we're not making Ash. Why? Because it's not Motzei Shabbat.
What about Besamim?
Besamim also is only on Motzei Shabbat because the neshama, extra neshama going away only on Motzei Shabbat.
So wait.
This is two mitzvot. There is Havdalah. Havdalah I could do until later in the week, but Ash only on Motzei Shabbat.
What about Geffen?
Like Havdalah, Gefen, this is the Havdalah. Baruch atah shaborei pre Gefen, achar kach ben amavdi ben kodesh lechol. This is the bracha. Gefen is not the wine, so anyway you have to do it. The Havdalah itself is until.
So we gotta separate it. Ha'esh is only Saturday
Yes,
night.
yes.
But Havdalah, which includes Geffen and Besamim.
No, Besamim also is with the fire. Is only Saturday night. Havdalah itself, it could be also later.
So let's say I'm in a rush.
Yes.
And I don't have time to take grape juice and everything. Light a candle. Say more Ha'esh.
I don't like to say it. Yes, no.
Okay,
no.
got it.
But yeah, okay.
Answer the question. I got it.
So we just saw a difference. Could we make a bracha Moreh Ash in the middle of the week or not? It depends. According to first opinion, not because it's a zecher. According to second opinion, yes, because it's birkat hashevach. What is birkat hashevach? Is to be thankful to Hashem about something specific. The mountain, the desert, also the fire. Okay, birkat hashevach. Now we're going to speak about a nafkamina, meaning a case that will make a difference between the Rosh and the Ramban. So let's remember, the Rosh said to remember Adam HaRishon, and the Ramban says because it's just a wonder of the world. Yeah. The mountains and the fire, there are two wonders. One is Oseh Maaseh Bereshit and one is Borei Moreh Ash. The question is the following. You know, when...
1 second.
Yes.
Let's say, if I live by the ocean, I go to sleep.
Yes.
I wake up the next morning. I see the ocean. Do I have to say?
So usually you have to wait 1 month. After 1 month you are making a bracha of the wonders. Yes.
So why not say?
But today is not practical. This bracha I never saw someone making with Shem Malchut. You could say always Baruch Oseh Maaseh Bereshit, but with the Shem Malchut, etc. This is not something that I saw. This is interesting. But according to Halacha, I saw that you should wait one month because you have to.
Like a fruit.
Yes, until the new season that it grow again. Okay, so when it's supposed to be new for you, not like when one night passed and then you see the ocean, it's new for you. No, you just that you saw it, right?
Yeah.
So after 1 month that you didn't see it, it's considered new. A fire, it's not the same. The fire, as soon because it's much more closer to you. The fire, it's much more closer because you need it. The ocean is only something that you like to see, to watch.
I thought the whole point is that it's a hefsek.
What?
Rabbi, please take some sushi. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so when it's the time that is new for you, so for the fire because you need it very strongly. So after 1 day that you didn't use it, that's it. It's new for you. The ocean you should come down after you watch it 1 year, then 1 month you didn't see it. Again, you making the bracha.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so what is the nafkamina? Question. I have a question for you. You know, when someone is passing away, you are lighting a candle for it, right? This candle, for him, this candle is not made for light. It's for honoring someone, the neshama. Whenever we have a chazan, according to some opinion, in front of the chazan it should be light. This light is not for light. It should be candles. Those candles are not for light, are for the respect of the kahal.
Same thing as the Ner Tamid?
Yeah, this is the Ner Tamid. Ner Tamid. I'm making a barbecue, right? I have, how do you call the Barbecue, the things that are
The meat, shashlik.
where the fire is.
Oh, coal.
Yeah, the coal,
Yeah.
right? There is fire in it, right? Those coal is for cooking, it's not for lighting, right?
Okay.
So I'm asking all those questions right now. When I have fire that is not for light, it's for something else. Honor,
Warm.
cook, warm, whatever you want, not for light. May I do the bracha of Morea Esh on it or not?
No.
Why not? You told me that it's when you make a fire, it's not since the fire give everything, not just even though I'm only,
According to who?
Hillel.
This is according to who?
Hillel.
Hillel includes Hillel includes all the function of the fire.
right.
Okay, so let's give
According to what does that have to do with the Russian?
No, one second. No, this is by the end. I will bring the Hillel.
Okay,
One second.
okay.
If you speak about the Rosh said that we should remember Adam HaRishon. Adam HaRishon made the light for what? He created the fire for what? Because he saw that the sun sets. He's starting to become dark. He got afraid. So he wanted what? To have light. So according to the Rosh, you cannot make a bracha of Meorea Esh.
On barbecue charcoal.
Barbecue you cannot. On the candles and Tamid, the real candles you cannot. Why? Because those are not here for light. They are for something else. But if you take the opinion of the Ramban says that you meet the fire, you need to make a bracha. No matter what. Just like you look on the mountains and the ocean, no matter what, you make the bracha. Also, you meet the fire, you make a bracha.
Rabbi, lahavdil, if it's a fire for Avodah Zarah, you can't make
No, I don't speak about that fire. Avodah Zarah, you are not allowed to take any pleasure from it. And this is according also from the Rosh, also from the Ramban. If you are not making a pleasure from it, don't make a bracha. Okay? The Ramban says, yes, you are not taking, you don't have a pleasure. The fire doesn't light. It's not here for lighting the people, like to have light, but you have a pleasure from it. To honor the neshama, to make a barbecue, to whatever you want. So you could make a bracha because you meet fire. You got it? So this is nafkamina between the Rosh and the Ramban. Now let's go back to our first question. Do you remember the question? The question was, we have the machloket between Bet Hillel and Ben Shammai. Bet Hillel said that we should speak in plural. Baruch me'orei ha'esh, plural. And Bet Shammai says singular, one. We said, what is the base of this discussion? According to whom? To the Ravad. Uriel, could you tell me again what is the interpretation of the Ravad on that machloket?
The Ravad comes and says,
Yeah.
the machloket between Bet Hillel and Bet Shammai is how many ways can you gain from fire?
Nice.
Hillel says warm cooking and a light to see, and Shammai only says no, it's only light.
Amazing. Okay, so I will repeat. Ravad comes and says and interpret this machloket about how many functions do we have from fire. Bet Hillel says because we have many functions of the fire, therefore we need to say me'orei ha'esh in plural. Bet Shammai comes and says no, the main point of the fire is to light. Therefore ma'or ha'esh, shebara ma'or ha'esh, one fire, one luminary. Okay. So
yeah, but just because you're only blessing it because of one aspect doesn't mean that's all it does.
According to Halacha, you are always going after the majority. What is the majority of the functions of the fire? According to Bet Shammai, the majority of the function is to light, to have light.
You're right. The fact is that
so therefore
it
we
gives
should
everything else as well.
correct. This is what Bet Hillel answers to Bet Shammai. Bet Shammai says you need to go after the majority. What is the main point of the fire? The main point of the fire is to light. Okay, make the bracha ma'or. Why should you include something else? And right now, are you cooking? Right now, are you getting warmer from this fire? No, you are getting a light. Make the bracha on the light. Got it? So we could say something even deeper than that. Basically, Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel are basically have the same way how to understand as the Rosh and the Ramban. How could we see that? Bet Hillel think that basically we are including all the functions in one blessing, right? Meaning, the Ramban says that just like you look on the mountain, you say thank you Hashem. You look on the fire, you say thank you Hashem. When you are thanking Hashem, are you thinking only on something specific of the fire, or you are thinking about everything that the fire gives you? Again, when you see the fire, the Ramban comes and tell you have to make a bracha because it's like the mountains, it's like the ocean, it's the wonder of the life of the world, right? So I'm asking you a question. So this is to thank Hashem, right? So when you are thanking Hashem that He gave you fire, are you thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu only for the fire to give you light, or on all the functions of the fire?
For everything.
For everything, right? You are thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He gives you fire for what? For light, getting warm from it, cook, everything. You are thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? This is the same reason why Bet Hillel comes and tell you should include all the functions. You understand? Because Bet Hillel comes and says you could, according to Ravad, you have Rashi and Ravad. Ravad comes and says Bet Hillel thinks that you should include on the functions. Why? Because Bet Hillel thinks that this is a bracha to thank Hashem in general about the fire. When you are thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you are thinking about everything. You are thinking about the fact that the fire gives you the light, and He makes you warm, and also He's letting you cooking with the fire, any food. You understand? So this is going straight with the opinion of the Ramban that says this is Birkat HaShevach. But if you are going to speak about Bet Shammai comes and says, no, you should speak about only the light. This is obvious because according to Bet Shammai, this bracha of Baruch Moreh Ha'esh is only to remember the story of Adam HaRishon. Why Adam HaRishon needed this light, this fire? For light only, not for cooking. He didn't have to cook. He didn't have to get warm. He was completely fine. Only to have light. He was used to the sun. He became dark. Therefore, he needed light. Therefore, he made the fire. And therefore, come Bet Shammai and says, because this bracha is to remember Adam HaRishon, so you should say only Ma'or Ha'esh, one fire, to remember Adam HaRishon that he needed the fire for what? For the light. Only for the light, not for all the functions that, like Bet Hillel said. Understand? This is exact what the Rosh said. Okay, that the bracha of Borei Moreh Ha'esh is basically a blessing, according to Bet Shammai, a blessing to remember Adam HaRishon. So what is the halacha? In the halacha in the Mishnah Berurah, in the Shulchan Aruch Harav of the Admor HaZaken, Chacham Ovadia brings it also. The fire of a candle could be used, is kosher to make the bracha on it, only if that fire was made for light.
That's where you have a Havdalah candle.
Yes, meaning that the Havdalah candle, it's for light. If, let's say, you are taking a Havdalah candle, and let's say the idea that this candle was light for the honor of a neshama of someone, not for lighting the people, you cannot.
What if someone...
You cannot make a bracha.
You're saying
it's
that
only if
you're only allowed to make a bracha on the fire if you're doing it for the light?
Yeah.
That was made for light.
Let's say...
Not for honor of someone.
So why, according to Rabbi Shammai, why don't we say Borei Moreh Ha'esh?
Very nice. So, one second. Yes? What?
So,
Great question.
Let's say you're in Meron.
Yes. And there is a lot of light.
Yeah. You're the only. You have your special menorah. You have
the candle.
Special handle. Havdalah candle.
Yes.
You're lighting it. Everyone's saying, and someone comes and takes a cigarette and lights a cigarette.
Oh, nice. So basically, according to this guy, this fire was made.
He's not Yotze.
He's not. Yeah. Okay. No.
What about
If let's say I will tell you differently. I lighted my candle of Havdalah for my cigarette, not for getting light from it.
You're not Yotze.
Not Yotze, because this fire wasn't made for light. It was only made for something else.
So what happens to the crowd that's saying Borei Moreh Ha'esh on it? Are they yotze?
Again, no, you cannot. You cannot. You have to extinguish
You're
it.
not. Do you hear that?
Yeah, but you say borim or. He's saying according to Beit Shammai, who says that.
We're talking about halacha now.
No, I'm calling as halacha. Mishnah Brura. Shulchan Aruch
That's what I'm
Mozaken.
saying. So therefore, we should still say we're.
You should make a new fire that is for lighting the people, and then you should make a
But
Morash.
the candle itself is not effective.
No.
It's just
The fire.
light.
We are speaking about the fire, not the candle.
Right, so I'm saying if
Yes.
you're only able to do it for the light, we don't care about the function
Correct.
and everything else.
Yes.
Should be borim
Morash. Yes.
You turn
We
it
say
off
borim
and
or
turn it on.
Yes.
We say borim moreah.
Morash. Yes.
So why do we say moreah?
So now let me ask the question a little bit more. We said that Bet Shammai said Ma'or HaEsh 1. Why? Because his main point is
Light.
the light, right? We said that when there is a machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel, the halacha is like Bet Hillel.
Correct.
We said that Bet Hillel said, according to the Ravad, that we are including all the functions, not only the lights. So if I'm coming and I'm lighting my candles for my cigarettes, it's not for light, it's for getting a pleasure from it. Okay? It's supposed to be good because Bet Hillel
Said everything.
So everything's supposed to be good for making Baruch Me'oraesh.
Right.
So how come that according to the halacha, we are going after Bet Shammai?
Right.
Because the answer is the following. This is the understanding of the Ravad. Who said that we should look on the Baruch Me'oraesh about the functions? This is the interpretation of the Ravad. But all the halacha, poskim of the halacha, are going after Rashi.
Rashi or the Rosh?
No, Rashi. Rashi comes and tells you that the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel is about the colors of the fire. Remember? Right? This is the machloket between them. And therefore, Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel agree that basically we need that fire for the light. Just the machloket is how many are we paying attention to the colors or only on the original color of the fire? Therefore, this is the halacha. Understand? Therefore, Mishnah Brura, that Morazaken and Chacham Ovadia comes and tell you that a fire that was made not in the purpose of lighting, but another purpose is pasul. It cannot be used for the Havdalah, and the fire for Havdalah is only for lighting.
So everybody agrees that.
Yeah, because according
it's just a zeichen. It's not.
No.
It's not because it's safed.
According to the Ramban, to Rashi,
Both Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel agree that it's all about zeichen. It's not about.
Yeah, this is different because this thing of Rosh and Ramban, right?
Yeah, but why can't?
Is only of the Ravad.
No, why can't you say it's all about zeichen?
Okay, no, I accept. Yes, why not? Yeah, okay. It could be also according to Rashi.
Yeah, you could say it's just still about a zeichen, but you're only in that.
No, it could also be.
You can't say that it's about.
Both of them.
You cannot say that it's like the Ramban.
Why not?
Because then you could say, then you're asking why you're not.
Why not making it in the middle of the week?
Yeah.
No, because you need the separation. That's it. So it could be Ramban. It could be the Rosh. Okay, and it could and it is also according to Rashi, according to Halacha. Understand? Baruch Hashem leolam. Amen ve'amen.